Ho ho ho! Welcome to the game dungeon. Hey, remember that thing where I changed which episode is next because of a holiday? Yeah, that happened again. So welcome to the Christmas episode. Now lately, when I have a Christmas episode, it tends to involve a pretty liberal interpretation of Christmas. Because as you know, playing Christmas video games is reserved for the 6th level of hell. Well, this year is special, because against all odds, I think I found a bona fide Christmas game that isn't a reskin or makes me want to kill myself. So gather round, because this may never happen again. I have no faith Christmas games will be redeemed in the future. Really, I'm not even sure this one's gonna cut it. But this is a Christmas game, and I didn't start hating myself after playing it for 2 minutes. So this may as well be a 4-leaf clover I found here. Aida's Strange Christmas. Yeah, I'm taking a liberty here and correcting the grammar. I mean, I'm not sure what you're supposed to do when the title of your game is misspelled and it's not on purpose. Okay, so we get some backstory. It says Christmas exists, and it used to be the Yule Goat in charge, but after a while he stopped being cool, so he got replaced by Santa. And there he goes with his creepy upright reindeer. And now there are no gifts. Uh-oh, that means we've got to save Christmas again, people. Okay, here we go. Where's Chris? He should have been here by now. That's what I always say. You can never trust a boyfriend. Never. Time for a smoke. Okay, 2 drags. Yeah, just spit it out onto the sidewalk. God damn it, where is he? So, yeah, looks like Aida is a real keeper. Well, it's your standard adventure game controls. And Aida walks like a horse. You know, my first thought is, given her fashion sense, Aida is like the disgruntled sister of Olive Oil from Popeye. But then I realized Popeye's from the 30s, so she's probably the descendant of Popeye and Olive Oil. She has her style and Popeye's fighting spirit. So cool, I'm just gonna call this a Popeye sequel. Uh-oh, seeing some depth problems there. Well, judging from her commentary, Aida's boyfriend was supposed to meet her here? It's not clear what's happening. Well, the door's locked, so let's smash the window to the movie theater to go find him. A friend of mine had a girlfriend kind of like this. Well, inside there's a security guard, and this is kind of weak. Him not noticing you smashing a window in front of him. I don't care how fantastic a game is, I always like realistic human behavior, so I'm dinging a point for that. Well, Aida herself is plenty believable. She needs to get into the theater, but the guard is in her way. So she digs around in the trash to find some paper to set fire to it in the bathroom to draw his attention. Yeah, that would do it, huh? Inside, it's just an empty movie theater, but Aida thinks she sees something on the screen, but can't make it out. So we head to the projector booth to get some light. The game doesn't let you set fire to this room too, that's too bad. That would make this even more interesting. A Christmas game about a pissed off girlfriend setting fire to everything? Well, on the screen, honestly, looks like a Coke stain to me. Somebody just chucked their drink at the movie they were watching. Case closed. Actually, no, it's really an interdimensional portal to another world. This feels kind of forced, but okay. And here we are at the North Pole, I guess. Hello? Ah! Leave me alone! Scary old man! Aha! Turns out this is Santa! He says she's getting a lump of coal this year. I don't think that's a plot twist. I think we saw that one coming. And it turns out maybe this isn't the North Pole. It's officially called Santa Land. Alright? Turns out Santa's been conquered by a ruler called Stiltskin and his army of goblins. Yeah, Santa's not looking too good. The game doesn't talk about it, but I can't tell if he's actually starving or just getting by on bare sustenance rations. Merry Christmas, everyone! And it looks like your boyfriend did come through here and got captured by the goblins. His gnome helper shows you Santa's former fortress and says don't go in there or you'll be killed. He also casually drops how he's a slave to Santa. Back at Santa's place, he gives us the lowdown on the region, and he also lets it slip that, yeah, the gnomes are his former slaves, and he's hoping we'll fix the injustice of them having to slave for the goblins. And apparently this was a cradle-to-grave operation. Santa had a cemetery specifically for the gnomes. I guess from old age? Maybe from being worked to death? I don't know. And we get a map! Such as it is. Well, the gnomes suggested I visit the gnomes first. They're in the sweatshop to the south. Uh-oh, a goblin. Oh, good, he doesn't attack me on sight. These are much tamer goblins than what I'm used to. He just tells me to beat it. Fine. I'll use the side entrance. Inside, there's a gnome in a cage. And Aida brings up the elephant in the room. Weren't you just slaves under Santa too? The gnome pretends to be confused, but I think he knows. This is an interesting dynamic, since Santa's helper from earlier knew he was a slave, and was just sort of resigned to it. Whereas this guy's a true Santa believer. This is the one you want running your PR. Let's see if we can get him out of this cage. He says we just have to kill the goblins with a toy gun. Now, I think we may be in luck, because something tells me Aida isn't going to have huge moral hang-ups about killing fantasy creatures. Yep, I was right. She has no problem with this. That's not true of a lot of adventure game protagonists. Yeah, a toy gun. You know, where I come from, we call a toy gun that kills people just a gun, for short. This gives us an arcade minigame. The scrolling's smooth enough, but everything delays when you fire. Oh look! He goes behind the box and waits for the timer to run out! That's smarter than I was expecting! Cogv! Oh no! I'm glad we get a close-up of the goblins here. I wasn't really sure what to think of seeing them from a distance. This clears it up for me. Well, we free the gnome and he's free to make toys again, although it sounds like nothing really changed, except he wasn't in a cage before. I mean, that is substantive, but let's check out the worker graveyard. It's filled with zombies because one of Stiltskin's warlocks is bringing back the dead. Apparently they were hoping to get some free labor out of the zombies, but that backfired because they're all pretty upset about this and just want to go back to sleep. Then they figured, hey, instead of working for you, why don't we just kill you? There's a thought. So the warlock put up a protective force field, so now they can't go back to sleep and they can't kill him. Yeah, there he is. Sounds like nobody's really happy about any of this. It's damn stressful being alive, you know. Yeah, it kinda is. Well, I guess we're done here. Let's check the north. Here are the reindeer stables, which the goblins are now using to run races they can bet on. Out front is a goblin bookie who's your classic Ferengi. That's the easiest way to describe him. Inside are the reindeer, I think. One won't talk to me because I'm a lowly human. Well, the zombies did say they're arrogant. Okay, let's talk about these reindeer. If you didn't know what they were, is that what you would call these things? I mean, okay, that stuff on their head is supposed to represent antlers, but my brain can't calibrate to that. I keep thinking they're tufts of hair, like that Muppet in Fraggle Rock. And look at their lower portions. My mind keeps thinking they have giant snake bodies, because the hay next to them makes it look like they're hiding their tails to slither along underneath. But I realize that's probably an illusion. So what it looks like is this creature where its lower portion is just some sort of stump. Like those inflatable punching figures for kids? So even though I know they're supposed to be reindeer, what I'm seeing is a green-skinned moose snake man with Fraggle Rock hair that slithers around. Or just balances on its stump and hops around to get to places. Yeah, I think we should talk about the art design here. Now, Aida herself, I think, came out pretty well. She looks like she could blend right into a 90s graphic adventure game. Everything else, though, well, it gets the job done, but it's not particularly nice to look at. I mean, these are some ugly palette choices. The shading's a little flat. I'm not liking most of what I'm seeing, but it's not so bad it'll give me nightmares. I feel like this is one of those game purist tests. Like, some people say they only care about the gameplay and don't care about the graphics at all. Well, here you go. I'm not a purist, though. I'm in the camp that likes graphics, and while I'm pretty flexible on fidelity, I have to like the atmosphere of the game I'm playing. To be honest, if it wasn't for Christmas demanding another game to be sacrificed in its honor, I doubt I would play this one on its own. We're too spoiled for choice now. But I'm in this weird territory where I recognize that this whole game was probably a one-man operation, and by that standard, it's impressive. A lot of work went into this. So I kind of want to give this an A for effort and a D for presentation. But in the land of Christmas games, that makes this a king, so let's keep going. From here, Aida asks the bookie if he has any work, which at first I thought felt kind of random, but then I realized if she really is stranded here, that's pretty wise. She's not gonna want to starve like Santa. Aida has street smarts for sure. Well, the bookie sure does have some work for us. He needs us to start rigging some races. First, we have to convince one of the reindeer to throw the race, then get to see the fruits of our labor. Ah, okay, so they do have legs. This still feels really weird for me. I'm pretty sure this image of reindeer is going to haunt me long after this episode. But we have a job now, so that means we have more races to rig. We take out the goblin guard so he slips on the ice, then have to play this whack-a-mole game defending the reindeer from some monsters. Let's see what happens if we fail. Conked again! Wow, double stab by the goblin. See, that's what I was expecting. Oh, and this compression is in the game itself. Apparently the developer decided JPEG was the right format for the job. After the whack-a-mole game and another race, the bookie couldn't be happier with us, but needs us to go sabotage the track for the next race. Instead, we just unlock the gate, then inform the reindeer. They escape and slaughter everyone, but it's all off screen. It's a one-man game, what can you do? Yeah, looks like they got trampled pretty good. Maybe the reindeer should just kill everyone, then we can celebrate Christmas early, huh? No. You know we're gonna have to save Christmas ourselves. Well, let's head over to Santa's Lightning Tower of Doom. Along the way, we get to hear the story of a down-on-his-luck warlock and get a flashback and everything. There he was, head of the warlocks. Then Grendel came in and said he's getting soft and not good enough to be the leader of the warlocks. Then Stiltskin himself showed up to tell him, yeah, he's right, you need to get out of here. The end. Yeah, I'm thinking we have some foreshadowing here that Stiltskin is the Yule Goat. Just a hunch. Well, we convinced the warlock to pledge that he'll fight for Santa if we go and kill Grendel. Yeah, alright. It feels like the Santa land politics are getting kind of thick for me not knowing anyone here. Well, here's the tower. Oh, it's one of these puzzles. Yeah, these are the kind I always figure out how to do, then forget by the next time I see one of them. Inside is that dog thing from Alien 3. Getting closer! Cogth. Well, I will say, even though I did save before this, the game is super generous with letting you retry. It's almost like the developer actually wanted you to play through the game. Yeah, we need to throw a flaming stick at it so it screams and explodes. Inside, something is being held captive by the warlocks because it was lazy, and we need to trigger 3 locking mechanisms to unlock it. Alright. Well, we ascend the tower, and I like the portrait of one of the warlock things here, though I'm wanting a closer view. This next part sucks. Okay, the dog from Alien 3 is sleeping, so we have to slink by the shadows to get past him. That's not the problem. The problem is we're supposed to turn on this machine, and that's out of the shadows. This is kind of crap because we're back to arcade skills again in an adventure game. So I have to rush forward to turn on the machine, then run away from the dog. But no, it's worse than that. See, I can't just click the use button on the machine to give myself a head start. It won't work. I have to walk next to it first, which will wake up the dog, then be fiddling with my controls to switch back from walk to use while he closes in on me, then go back to walk. I actually stopped to memorize how many clicks it was to switch between the two before I did this. Otherwise, I wouldn't be fast enough. And it's still worse than that, because the game is picky about where I press it. It tells me to press the lever. Look at this thing. Pop quiz. Where is the lever located? If you guess this white transparent thing, you're wrong. See? Nothing. It's somewhere in this nebulous space around what looks like a subwoofer, but not too high. But this still sucks because Aida's body blocks the lever. So you have to run in, get close, but not too close, and hope you're not blocking this invisible lever and pull it in time before the dog kills you. I only got through this because the game glitched out and I stayed stuck in the shadows. Now, I woke up the dog on my way back, but was able to make it until I got to the end. Then I freaked out because the game took away the controls from me, and I thought it was an automated sequence where the alien dog was coming to kill me no matter what. But it was just the game waiting on the animation for it to go back to sleep. Oh boy, I'm saving after that one. The next room is similar, but not nearly as bad. We finally get to see the warlocks unmasked, and they're these weird elephant things. I don't know, I feel like I've seen something like this before, but it's really deep in my subconscious. I feel like it was an 80s cartoon or a Muppet or something.
Dance the jiggle big and back and big sludge pickle. It's the jiggle big called flash big.
Yeah, I'm never gonna figure out everything that's in the recesses of my mind. Anyway, if he sees us, he busts out the magic, and that's that. Yeah, zap. And that's it. Aha! A close-up. Nice. You know what? I respect the efficiency. It's a pet peeve of mine in movies when they build up the villain, then they hold back their power in an obvious way just so the hero can live. Like in Terminator Salvation, the Terminator, a super powerful cyborg whose entire purpose is to assassinate humans, grabs the leader of the resistance by his vest, tosses him across the room, then walks over and does it again. Pretty sure he'd be scarier if he just grabbed people by the throat and crushed their larynx. So yeah, props for making the threat credible, game. So we need to poison him since he's tasting his concoction. There we go. Oh wow. Yeah, poison. This is what happens when you poison someone. Well, he's dead. I'm not confused about that part. So let's hit the next lever. The third one is nothing special, so we come back to rescue the thing and... Okay, this looks genuinely alien to me. Well, it's gonna help us open the inner chamber. Yeah, this is weird. This is one of those moments where if I told you I have a Christmas game, so try to imagine what it's going to be like, this probably isn't what you thought of. Well, inside the inner chamber, Grendel is having a powwow with Stiltskin himself. It's mostly Stiltskin reminding him of his place. Don't try to think, only serve. Yeah, I've had jobs like that. Stiltskin also mentions how he doesn't want the warlocks killing Aida or Santa, though he doesn't say why. Huh, well that's interesting. Especially since I shoved the brazier onto him to burn him to death. That means the message of "don't kill me" is never going to get delivered. I mean, yeah, opportunity knocks when you're trying to assassinate someone, but it's too bad we couldn't have waited. Well, there's only one place left to go now, and that's the Goblin Village. I was avoiding this place since I thought they would just put my head on a pike, but they're more chill than I would have thought. Unfortunately, the game glitched out here, and the responses started going by so fast they were unreadable. Blop, blop, blop. I eventually got this working again, but I missed some dialogue. I gathered that they wanted us to go kill a rabbit near them. Maybe he's been eating their food. Well, there's the rabbit. Looks like a sentient one, too. He's wearing a sweater and his house has a little chimney. Well, we lay down a carrot to lure him out, then Aida grabs him. This is an important lesson about trusting humans, rabbit. And now that we have the sentient rabbit, next we need to strap him down to a table and pour acid on him so he dies in a horrendous way. And there we go! Now we have won the favor of the goblins. Christmas! Right. So along the way, we got some more items to help the zombies. Apparently, the secret to cracking the force field is just to throw some flowers in a water pitcher at it. I don't know, I lost track of the lore. That destroys his force field. So I guess now that leaves him vulnerable to the zombies. I should probably go tell them so they can finish the job to... Wait, something's happening. Oh! Alright, I guess we don't need to wait for the zombies. We blew them away with flower power. Wow. Well, that's it. We've liberated everyone, so time to join Santa for the final assault on his former fortress. We have a Lord of the Rings style uniting of the races to defeat the big bad guy. Well, we break through. Some weird alien is casting magic or something. Thankfully, Santa is a wizard too, and they get into a magic deadlock. Well, we head off and find Aida's boyfriend, Chris. He's guarded by an orc or something, but in classic adventure game fashion, we set up a candle to burn through the robe so it coincidentally drops the chandelier down on his head at exactly the right moment. Man, this game is not holding back on the blood, huh? The war on Christmas is real up in here. Well, Chris is gonna have to wait. He's still locked, so of course we have to go defeat Stiltskin to put an end to this. We head in and, cool. We're in some sort of dimensional portal. I'm not complaining. Uh-oh, fireball. No! Yep, Santa's helper heroically dives in front of it to save us. Yeah, like that. Oh well, moving on. Doop-a-doop-doop-doo. Alright, looks like a showdown to me. And here is Stiltskin. Wow, he looks like a bug thing, not a goat. Well, he is the Yule Goat, and the backstory is after he lost popularity, he got reassigned to Halloween giving out candy to kids. But he thought that was lame and never let it go, so he wanted to take back Christmas this whole time. I like how Santa just holds up his hand and blows off his head. Brother! Oh, so it was just a mask. It's Santa Claus's brother posing as a goat. The plot thickens. So now they get caught in a magic fight to the death. Yeah, I'm conflicted. Okay, for the record, I don't want Santa Claus dead. But if it's a choice between Christmas or Halloween taking over, you know where I'm gonna land on that debate. Well, lucky for you, the game doesn't give me the option to side with Stiltskin. Instead, we hold up an interdimensional mirror that was just lying here. He gets sucked right into it. Christmas is saved. Easy. In the aftermath, Aida and Chris are reunited, Santa is in charge again, and teleports us back home. Merry Christmas. And yep, there's the creator. Till Aida. Bam, dump the desktop. Okay. Well, as far as Christmas games go, this was about the best we could possibly hope for. The message I got from this was this entire conflict was about helping the nicer slave owner over the meaner one? And if there's no slavery, then there's no Christmas. I don't know, maybe I missed the mark on this one. Awards time! Goblins. That's about it. But you know, something's bugging me. I saw online this game had 2 endings, and I didn't see an obvious choice. I'll be honest, I tried to let Halloween take over Christmas. I would have 0 complaints if Christmas just turned into Halloween 2.0 instead, but it just wasn't an option. I tried teleporting back by myself? I did find a walkthrough to the game, but it didn't mention anything about a second ending. So then I thought, well wait, I had to tell Santa I was ready to assault the fortress. What if I tried that before I united everyone? Oh cool, that works! It looks like I didn't even need the extra help aside from the gnomes. Yeah, I make it to the end and everything. It's all exactly the same. So I don't know, it'll just have to be one of those mystery endings somebody can pick apart later. Oh wait, this is different. No, it was too long. Oh, it's the Army of Darkness alternate ending.
Oh God, no.
No! Oh, I almost forgot. Not counting the arcade segments, our Christmas body count this year was 11. I skipped over one where we killed a goblin with a trap to impale a rock through its skull. Alright, Merry Christmas.